Yeah. First of all, good afternoon. Last time we saw you in Big Bear, you were a little upset. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, today I feel great, and I'm not upset because I know I come into training, just I'm open my eyes, just everybody's coming. For what? Watch my training, or why nobody tell me, or nobody, just I tell my coach, Abel Sanchez. It's a surprise for me, because I have a big plan, and everybody's coming, just destroy my plan. Just I must say I need a training. No, just don't forget your training. I want to talk with you. No, come on. I'm a boxer. I'm not, talking man.
You're a few weeks out from the fight now. How does it feel, this time compared to the first fight when you were 3 weeks away from the fight?
Seriously, I feel very comfortable. I feel very comfortable because I understand. Maybe I had good experience from first fight. And I have good experience in my life. Maybe I'm a little bit older. Just look my t-shirt. I bring my regular t-shirts, not like huge. Brand or like a famous guy. No, just really, I'm a boxer. I wanted this fight, and I want to beat him. I want to show all my fans, all my people, who is real guy.
After the first fight, obviously, I know you weren't happy with the decision, but most people thought that you had won the fight. Did you take any satisfaction out of that? Did that make you happy?
No, maybe more important. Of course, just is my side, and it's more important for boxing, for sport. Just if after like this fight, like my first fight, judges said like bring crazy, like points. It's terrible for sport, because a lot of people watch live this fight. A lot of people watch, like points or computers, just it is very bad for sport because one judge bring my side, second judge bring his side, how? I don't know, I'm not understanding this.
But were you happy that most people thought that you won?
No, this is not my side. Just really, of course I like this, yeah. Everybody said, oh gee, you won, maybe 80%, 90% people said. This is people, this is not me. I said draw. I said I want a second fight. I said I want to show more bigger drama show.
Francisco?
You always come across very happy, excited. Is this the first fight that there's animosity or anger on your part towards an opponent?
I don't feel angry. I don't feel respect for this team. Not only for Canelo. I know Canelo a long time. He's still like a young guy. He's not. He listens his promotion. He listens his team. His problem. Really, he has big problem. He has scandal with dog. He has. He still work with these people who bring this situation, this scandal for this. This is very terrible for him. Just my point.
Steve?
And I feel very comfortable because I have my team. I respect my team. I respect my people. I respect people who support me. Because this is true guy. If you fake, of course you support Canelo. If you're real guy, you support me. Like white and black. That's it.
Gennady, when Canelo says, I'm going to attack Golovkin more in the second fight, I might even knock him out. Do you believe him?
No way. Really? No, this is good. No, he's talked too much before first fight. He's talked too much. Before second fight, if he bring more attack, it's more interesting. More big fans to maybe to boxing. It's really huge fight for us.
So, Gennady, do you expect it to be the same type of fight as it was last September?
No, it's 100% different because different mental, different performance, fight, a lot of emotion. This is not only boxing fight. Right now, not only business fight. Right now, like a true war.
So will you be more aggressive?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gennady,
You mentioned that he still has people working for him that put him in that situation. Do you feel that they secretly did it without him knowing, or do you feel that he knew all along that he was doing it? Or it's just, you have no.
I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know him. I know just result. I know he has problem with doping test. That's it.
Regardless.
Yeah. Not interest how. Not interest who. Maybe know one guy.
Do you feel his team's responsible? The strength conditioning?
I think for the not just problem because boxing people and boxing sport rules big respect for this athletes.
Gennady, Canelo said that in this fight he wants to knock you out. Did anything in the first fight, his punching power, does that weigh into people believing that? Like, did he punch the way you expected him to hit hard, or not as hard as you expected?
Yeah, of course he wanna knock out me, I wanna knock out him, I don't know, I remember, I saw a couple first fight, I don't feel real, I don't feel like, I remember I did a couple shots, slap, I don't feel the real, power, punch power. I don't know why, just maybe, different, I have more adrenaline, so I know this fight, maybe he lose a lot of power for first couple rounds. Same situation for him, he doesn't feel my power, really, just first fight, it's not 100% for him and for me. I believe just right now we had good experience from first fight and we changed the performance for second fight. Right now it's a different story. Go ahead.
Just curious, where would you rank Canelo amongst the people that you fought and his punching power? Is he the hardest puncher that you fought in the pros?
He's not hard to punch, really, I don't feel his power. I don't feel his heavy hand. He's fast, he's quick, he's more boxing he has. He knows.
Is he the most skilled boxer that you fought?
Yes, yeah. It is true. Because different level. We have biggest fight for boxing. He's real. He's not a regular guy. He's right now. I'm very happy because I have this fight because this is different level. Very interesting.
Is it hard to concede that he's the best fighter you've fought, considering all the animosity around this fight and promotion?
Of course, he's, I don't know, best or not best fighter for my career. And he's a real very good fighter. He's 100%.
Obviously, with the cancellation of the first fight and the negotiations and stuff, there's kind of been a lot of ups and downs over the last few months. How important has Abel Sanchez kind of been in helping you, kind of remain focused on that?
Yeah, he's real good, and I understand this situation. I want a big fight. I want to fight with him, and I understand after commission, it's only 6 months. I understand this situation. This is not new, not big news for me. I understand my situation. Real, I feel very comfortable.
Obviously, we've all heard the story about how you showed up to LAX and stuff like a bag or whatever. I was kind of curious though. Before that, how did you find Abel? How did you kind of decide that? How did you hear about him? How did you think this is the guy that I want to work with?
I feel just now. I know him long time. I watch a couple videos, couple fights. Maybe I don't know. Maybe interesting for you. I remember. Big surprise for me, Sugar Ray Leonard fight with Terry Norris.
Okay.
And Abel come, because this this weight very interesting for me. I respect all middleweight champions like heroes. There were so many fights, and I remember this one nice guy come to for his account. I was like, oh, very interesting. Like strategy, tactic, like everything with Sugar Llano. He's a huge guy. And one situation after German, my German like I call him, just say I want to meet with you, sir. And I feel him, just I feeling like he's a true guy. He's not fake, he's not liar, like true guy.
How were you able to kind of see that through just video clips and stuff? Or was it when you talked on the phone with him?
Maybe you understand. We're going to eat breakfast. Only breakfast. Not dinner, not lunch. Only breakfast.
To follow up on what Don said, I remember when I met you in Canelo 2011, 2012, up in Big Bear Lake.
Yeah.
Did you think any time that you were going to fight Canelo later on in your career, 5, 6, 7 years later?
Yeah, because we're 2 or 3 training camps together, and he's same weight like me. I stay 160, he stay 154, and he feels coming to 160. He said, "Hey, G, just we'll stay over friendly, because he's young, like different type." He said, like, maybe next couple of years I go in 160. I said, okay, see 160. Welcome to my middleweight division.
Overwhelming majority of people thought you won the first fight, but it still wasn't like a decisive, overwhelming victory for you. Do you feel more pressure to have like that emphatic victory, especially just for your legacy in general?
Of course I will want. Of course I will want. Yeah. I don't want decision fight. I really don't. I'm working hard every day not for decision fight. I like punching.
Gennady, is this round 13 or round 1?
Give me money, I tell you. Nobody knows. I'm my God. Steve?
Gennady, have you watched the first fight? And if so, what were your thoughts looking back at the video?
I just one time. I've not watched like a real fight because I listen to commentators and this moment like I'm not producing represent this fight. It's terrible for sport.
You've always been such a good body puncher. Do you wish you had worked the body a little bit more in that fight, and do you plan to work it more in this fight?
Thank you for the compliment. If he give me a chance, yeah, I'll work it.
He didn't give you a chance. He didn't give you that much of a chance in the first fight.
No, just first fight, not 100% for me.
If when this is over, you win or he wins, he comes over to your corner, or you win, would you go to his corner?
I don't know. I can't say yes or no right now, because every day different. Every day is different emotion.
Is there a window possibility of bringing that friendship back after, a few months after? Would you be willing?
No, why not? Why not? Because if he's come back for real life, absolutely, absolutely. If he stay like a fake, this is impossible. Not for him, for me, because just I can't. This is life, I believe maybe maybe not. Like next couple months, maybe couple years, we're going to like big convention, boxing convention together. Why not?
Questions?
One more. Go ahead.
Gennady, you mentioned earlier that both you and Canelo were not 100% for the first fight. Why do you think that was? Do you think it was facing a fellow elite, or was it the nerves of a big pay-per-view?
First fight, said too much before first fight. He wanna make me like down me and just slow close distance like Mexican style because I'm true Mexican guy and like, he's talked too much before first fight. I said, okay, just show me your Mexican style, show me your Mexican real like genetics, love. He moved too much, please like a little bit for me and
Canelo said he was the only real Mexican in there, but I know Abel's criticism has been that he didn't fight that way. So we'll see how he fights the second fight. They've made adjustments on their side, and we'll see if Canelo just continues to be defensive with the rematch, or if he's going to go for the knockout like he's promised.
You want to talk a little about the appointing of the judges and the referee?
Yeah, the judges, the officials were appointed this week by the Nevada Athletic Commission. There's no issues from the Triple G side with the judges. Dave Moretti from Nevada, Steve Weisfeld, and Glenn Feldman. So, they seem qualified judges, and the referee is Ben Giustevis. There's no controversy. From our side, the main thing with the officials were we want to make sure the focus is on the fight, on the fighters in the ring, not on the officials outside the ring. Unfortunately, Kenny Bayless wasn't available. We thought he did a fine job the first time around. He wasn't available for the rematch, so they agreed to the Golden Boy and Triple G side. We're both fine with Ben Giustevis, and the commission agreed to appoint him as referee.
Tom, you've been up at Bear Lake for both the first fight and the rematch, watching him train. Do you see more of a sense of determination on the part of Gennady, or what are your sort of analysis when you see him in
These fights with Canelo, with Triple G and Canelo, these are the biggest fights in the sport of boxing right now. We felt Gennady won the first fight, so we feel he won the first fight. If he does the same thing, he should win the second fight. But I see even a more determined Triple G. I think you saw with Vanas, nobody did to Vanas what he did. With all the things about short notice and 154 pounds, nobody, Charlo, Lara, nobody stopped Vanas in the second round like Gennady did. And I think Gennady took out a lot of frustration that he had with Canelo and that situation with Cinco de Mayo. He took it out on Vanas, and all the frustrations that were built up with the suspension and all the controversy. I think you'll see Gennady taking it out on September 15th.
Couple more questions, yeah.
For as big of a fight this is, it's clearly the biggest fight of the year in boxing. Do you feel it's a little odd that you guys haven't had a face-to-face interaction? I'm not sure how the rest of this day goes, but it seems set up so that the two fighters don't really have an interaction with each other and won't until fight week. It's kind of rare for a fight of this magnitude for that to happen. I'm wondering if that's played into any of this at all, or kind of the
Yeah, just Mark, just to be clear, that didn't come from the Triple G side. Gennady has no problem looking Canelo in the eyes.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just wondering how that's been being part of this fight. Like, it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting.
It's, usually for a big pay-per-view fight like this, we'll do a world tour. Last time we were even in London, promoting the fight. This time around, discussions with Golden Boy, they felt that we had announced this for May. We're pretty much being reset for September 15th with all the controversy. It makes it even bigger than the first fight. But again, to be clear, the decision wasn't from the Triple G side. Gennady has promoted fights all over the world, and he's one of the most open fighters in terms of access to his training camp. Sitting down like this, he went to a big UFC event up in Las Vegas. So he's always up for pulling the fight, and again, he has no problem looking Canelo in the eyes, whether now or during fight week. And I think it was the reading I got. It was the Canelo side. They just wanted to focus on the training and not go through the whole promotion.
Steve? Gennady, you've always said boxing is a sport, but this seems to be a little bit more personal. Have you ever wanted to win a fight as badly as the rematch?
Right now, yeah. right now I feel like doing different, not only sport, not only business, yeah. Like, we doesn't have like nothing yet. It's like special, you know. I want to bring, you know, my true ideas, like, you know, my true situation, you know, because his team, his promotion, you know, doesn't respect like boxing people. You know, I saw this situation is terrible. Not for this time.
Gennady, when you told Tom, I'm not taking 42.5%, and that fight had kind of flatlined, it died for about an hour, were you prepared to really, in your mind, go from tens of millions of dollars to a lot less? Was that okay with you?
Of course.
Really?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, tens of millions of
Well,
dollars.
oh, yeah, I
to a lot
understand. Yeah,
less.
I understand I'm crazy. Yeah, I understand I'm crazy. And right now, really, just I look see this situation. I know this is a very good deal for both, you know, for me and for him. And I know if he has like a real like big problem with I don't know, like you know, he doesn't have fight. I know this split is very real for us. No problem.
A lot of
Then
people-
take time, just time.
A lot of people, Steve, you know, lose focus that Triple G is a champion. He's the one defending his titles. He felt once the suspension happened with Canelo needs him in the ring to redeem himself. If Canelo fought somebody else, knocked out someone else, it wouldn't have the same effect as getting back in the ring with Triple G. That's why he held firm on the position, and he was right. You know, we had the fight done with Billy Joe Saunders. He told me, Tom, it doesn't matter to me. If you make the Canelo fight, if you make the fight with Billy Joe Saunders, that took the pressure off of me. He was interested just as much from a sporting perspective to fight an undefeated champion, add the WBO title to his collection as, I mean, there's no question that the fight with Canelo is a much bigger stage, it's a much bigger promotion. It's the fight that everyone's looking forward to this year, but for him, it didn't matter, Canelo or Saunders.
Tom, were you surprised as you called him from Russia? I believe at the World Cup at that
He
point.
was in Moscow.
With the World Cup. So as you said, Gennady got this great deal. They've come up to 42.5%, and I'm assuming you thought we're done. And when Gennady said no, we're not done, were you surprised by that hardline stance your client took?
Let me just say, Gennady's a better poker player than I am.
Really, just I tell Tom, just yes or no. That's it. It's not interesting for me, really, because for me, Canelo, only this is that. This is not biggest name, biggest face, like you know, like per man or like this. For me, this is just fight. Just look, am I going to? I tell him, look, am I going to soccer? Soccer World Cup. Just I said, okay, just send me, just yes or no. That's it. Just forget.
I was trying to explain,
Yeah.
you know, everything, all the steps that Golden Boy was doing, and he said, look, less than
I don't
me.
have, Steve, I don't have problem.
Yeah.
He still have big problem, biggest problem for boxing, you know, I don't have problem.
But, you know, at the end of the day, Gennady felt after, so it was about 1 hour after the deadline passed, and the fight was dead. I already called HBO, I called MGM, I called Tecate, the sponsors. He said, you know, we're going in the direction of Billy Joe Saunders. We couldn't make the fight. And an hour later, Eric Gomez called me up and said, okay, we got one more. He spoke to Oscar, got one more proposal for you. It was exactly what he was looking for with a little bit of a tweak, but I knew with that proposal, Gennady really wanted to fight. There's no question, he wanted to fight. He just wanted it to be under fair circumstances. So once they came to that, and he accepted within 5 minutes, he said, okay, let's make the fight.
Tom, so when you called everyone saying that we're going to move on to Billy Joe Saunders, what was the reaction of the various people?
Everyone was disappointed. I was disappointed. You know, I wanted nothing more than to announce, okay, we're going to do the rematch with Canelo. But if Gennady didn't agree, then he held firm, and he knew also that you know what I was getting back with the split. Canelo is still getting the majority of the split, so Canelo is not losing money in this fight. In fact, this will most likely, besides the last fight, which was his biggest pay, this will be his biggest pay of his career. And you know, Gennady felt this was a fair split. It's a big fight for Gennady. It's a huge fight for Canelo. And there's a lot of effects of this fight. You know, Triple G is going for a record of title defenses. Canelo, if he wins the titles that Gennady worked so hard to get. So both sides have a lot to win. very rare when you get two of the top fighters in the sport of boxing, and also two of the most remarkable fighters in the sport of boxing. That's what really makes, I think, this event such a big event when they're fighting each other.
Guys, we're gonna have to wrap it. He's got to do TV outside.